Yeah. What am I up to for the next 3 days? Well, let's go in here and take a look. Welcome to my laboratory. Yes, this will be my laboratory for the next few days. What do you suppose I'm going to be doing here? Yes, I'm going to be repainting this little condo. And it's only a 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo, but man, it's right next to Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe's right out here. Oh man, this is awesome where it is. I'm gonna like staying here, and I'm gonna end up just staying here for the next couple nights. This will be my bed right here, and I'm just gonna be in here painting. And I'm all ready because I've got my 24-pack of Diet Coke here, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's just talk about this a little bit, okay? But first off, if you want to see this entire project, stick around, because that's what I'm going to be showing you on this whole entire video series. Yeah. Now I'll be talking a little bit more about this once I get going, once I get the paint in here. I haven't even brought all my stuff in here. The only thing I brought in here so far is my Diet Coke, so I could put some in the refrigerator to get them cold, and my video camera. That's it. So when I get ready to paint, yeah, I'm here all by myself, and I've got to get this all done for a friend of mine. I told them that I would be more than happy to help them out repainting this little condo form. And of course, before I get the paint out at all, I've got a lot of prep work here to do. I'm going to have to move the bed out away from the wall because I'm going to repaint everything. So I'll have to move these nightstands out of the way, the pictures on the wall, probably take the just the curtain rod down. Fortunately, I won't have to take the mini blinds down because it's got wood surrounds around it. Okay, here I've got a wall mount TV. I don't know if I'm going to disconnect that or not. I may be able to pull it out, wrap some plastic around it, or do something like that, paint around it, take this glass countertop off probably, and I'll probably leave this because they've got it either glued on, taped on, screwed on. So I'll probably leave that and have to paint around that. But as for the heaters, the baseboard heaters, I'll have to leave those in place. Certain things I'm going to have to leave in place, certain things I'm not. I'm going to pull this away from the wall, even though she wants the color matched. Okay, I'm not going to just paint around stuff and paint around the headboard and all that kind of stuff. For one, I'm getting the color, I matched up the color pretty close to this. And I've looked at this paint, and this paint is a flat paint. And what I'm doing is I'm repainting these walls. All the walls that are flat, I'm going to be painting with eggshell so that you can wipe down marks on them and stuff. You know, with eggshell, see, you can't really see that right there. There's some marks around there. I've got the lights on and stuff, but there's not a whole lot of light in here. But if I paint the walls with an eggshell finish, it's going to give it a little bit of a sheen. It's kind of like a satin finish, a low sheen on the walls. It's the colors still going to look fine. It's not going to be like a semi-gloss or anything. The only place where we're going to have semi-gloss is in the bathroom. I'm going to do semi-gloss in here. I've matched the paint. It's got semi-gloss on the ceiling and the walls. And good thing for me is it's all one color, so I won't have to paint the ceiling first with one color and cut it in and all that kind of stuff. and paint the walls a different color. So it's all the same color. Here out in the kitchen, I've noticed that it's semi-gloss in the kitchen. I think from around the corner up by the fireplace, this wall coming across, and not that, but I'll probably do the semi-gloss to this edge. I think they did semi-gloss from the side of the refrigerator, from there around that little ceiling down in there. But I might put semi-gloss on this and stop the kitchen, let's say, from that edge as opposed to the inside edge, because people walk around here. I can already see that this is kind of grimy to a certain extent. I mean, granted, this paint is probably close to 10 years old, and it still looks in pretty good shape. But I'm going to be painting all of it, and this area in here is flat paint. Down the hallway and the bedroom is flat paint. This little section's flat paint. This little section over here is flat paint, and this little section is flat paint. So can you see, if I put an eggshell finish on there, first off, it's going to give it a low sheen on there, so it's wipeable. You won't have to worry about smudges and stuff, not being able to clean them off without messing up your flat paint. If you ever try to clean flat paint, you know what I'm talking about. Plus, it'll brighten these walls up just a certain extent, okay? And so it's not a very big job, and I think I'm going to be here, you know, a good portion of it is just in the prep work. I've got to decide a few things. First off, obviously I've got to take all the pictures down, and then I'll probably take pictures of these on my cell phone so that I know exactly which picture goes where, and such. Take these off. I'm contemplating whether or not I need to take that light fixture down, or whether or not I'm going to paint around it. And same thing with the smoke alarm. There's one smoke alarm here. There's one smoke alarm here. There's also another smoke alarm up here in the corner, and there was a smoke alarm here in the bedroom, and by code you're supposed to have smoke alarms in your bedroom and your hall area going down towards the kitchen and that kind of stuff. And because there's no smoke alarm here, I told her, I said, Michelle, I'm gonna have to put a smoke alarm in here, and I went ahead and I saw that it was a hardwired smoke alarm, so I got to take that off, and I got a new smoke alarm. So I'll be, part of the project is to replace that with a hardwired smoke alarm that also has a battery backup, a lithium battery backup. That's 10 years lithium battery. Okay, so I'll be doing that for the project too, and I'll be taking all the light switch cover plates off, the electrical cover plates off. I've seen some painters, they just leave that stuff, and I just can't imagine why somebody would want to do that. It's not that hard to take these off. Plus this box is kind of loose, I noticed from before. I don't know if I'm going to mess with that. We'll just have to see how long it's going to take to do all this kind of stuff. As for the thermostat, I'm not going to, I've decided I don't want to really mess with the thermostats. There's one here, there's also one out here, right here, and there's a little tag right here. I'm going to paint around those. I'll have to be careful. I'll have to be careful with those. But as for the light switch cover plates, I'll be taking those out. As for this heater, I'll probably paint around that. I don't know. I might take the cover off. We'll just have to see. And then I noticed there's another little heater. There's another little heater right there in the bathroom. I may take the cover off again. If it's easy enough to take the cover off, you know, without messing around. Or I'll have to look at it and make a decision on that. Especially since I'm here in the bathroom. Let's look at this for a second. Usually I take the light fixtures down. Well, this one happens to be a square, well, rectangular one, and it's right down tight to the mirror. And I may just end up painting around that. I might just put some craft paper or something over that when I'm painting the ceiling so I don't get any little droplets on there. And I'll have to be careful. I'll probably paint everything with a 6-inch mini roller, not a 9-inch cover on a 9-inch paint frame. I'll probably use a 6-inch. And obviously I'm gonna paint around the toilet, but like for the towel ring here, I'm gonna take that off the wall. And also the towel bars, I'm going to take these off the wall. I'll have to disconnect this, pull that out, take the cover off of that, and I'm not sure if I'm going to. I might just pop the door off, just for the sake of it. It won't take me very long just to undo the door and get it out of here, so I don't have to keep swinging it back and forth. I won't have to worry about getting any droplets of paint on here coming in and out of here. Okay, I might do that same thing with this door in the bedroom. Okay, just so I don't have to come in and out and back up into it or get some paint on it, and it'll be easy enough where I could do that. Okay, and as for the floor, I've got a special thing that I put on the floor. And I'll show you that as we get going, but it doesn't really, to me, it doesn't really look like a whole lot of work, but there's a lot of prep. You know, you don't want to just paint around certain things. I've seen painters in some jobs where they say, we're just going to leave these and we're just going to paint around them. Well, yeah, you paint around it. With this bathroom, this is all semi-gloss. When you start rolling your paint with a paint roller cover, with semi-gloss, you don't want to stop and start and go in here and, oh yeah, I'll get a mini roller and I'll go up through there and I'll come around the sides. Then you've got to cut in all the way around here with a paint brush. Same thing here, same thing on these. And every time you paint with a paint brush, it's going to throw something slightly different than how your roller, you can do nice even strokes all the way up through there if you take this off. If you take these towel bars off and that kind of thing. You see what I mean? And so I try to minimize as much as I can. That's why I'm gonna end up spending some time and take some stuff off. Here's a coat rack, or this is for skis, because we're up at Tahoe, Lake Tahoe. And that's for somebody for skis or hats or gloves or anything like that. I'm going to take that down. It's only 2 screws, you know, up in here. I'm going to take that down. And as for that, I may look at the smoke alarms and decide whether or not I want to disconnect those. It doesn't take very much to disconnect those. Okay. As for that too, here's 2 little handrails going down the stairs. Well, again, this is flat paint. I'm gonna do eggshell there. And do I really want to mess around with painting up in there and back and forth and then try to cut in around all these trim pieces for the brackets? No, I don't really want to do that. And so yes, I'm gonna have to disconnect these. I'll unscrew these and I'll mark them to make sure I know which one goes where. And it's just going to look better when I get all done. I won't have any brush strokes around here because everything else will be paint roller cover with the paint roller. And then, you know, when you brush something with the paint roller, depending where your paint is and how your light's hitting it, you might be able to see, oh yeah, I see where Joe painted around there. Yeah, I'm not going to have him do anything around my house. That looks like crap. I can see exactly where his paintbrush marks are as opposed to his paint roller marks. And he's gotten paint all over the place. He's got it on the brackets. He's got it on towel bars. He's got it around the trim. Why didn't he take that trim down? My word, he didn't even do that. Now I see this nice little ring around the collar here where he ran his paintbrush, and he didn't take the cover plates off the electrical outlets. My word. So, you know, take some time, make a decision before you even get the paint out. Now here, speaking of that, I'm going to have to make a decision right here. This is their little owner's closet, they call it. Now, years ago, this closet went all the way to here, but then they did something smart. They decided to shorten up this closet right to here, see? Right to here, and then they cut in and installed this door. Wasn't that a good idea? Because then they have this like an owner's, they have this like a little owner's closet they can lock up, because this is a vacation condo rental. They come up here a few times every year, and they also rent it out. Oh, it's a beautiful place for the summer or for the winter, or even on the off season. Here we are towards the end of August. This is off season. All the kids have gone back to school. I'm going to love being up here for the next 2.5 days. Okay, this would be a perfect time to come out here. If you want to rent this, by the way, send me a comment. Maybe I can put you in contact with Michelle and get you up here at Tahoe. It's beautiful. It's close. It's right here at Kings Beach at Lake Tahoe. Okay, but I'm going to have to, back here, I'm going to have to decide, do I want to pull all this stuff out and repaint this in here? I'm just not sure if I want to do that just yet. You know, if I have time, maybe I'll go through the effort and do all that. But the only person who ever is going to see that is Michelle, and it's full. Okay, and so is she really going to appreciate the fact that I'm going to put an eggshell in there? In fact, I could put semi-gloss in there, 1 coat of semi-gloss, and then, because right now the shelves are painted flat, you see what I mean? If I put semi-gloss, it'll be easier to keep clean and that kind of thing. That's if I decide to go the extra mile for, you know, depending how long everything's going to take. I'll decide that towards the end if I want to do anything with that, because I'm up here, what's today? Thursday, then I got Friday, and I'll probably be here the next day for a little bit. They've got cleaners coming in here on Sunday. The cleaners are coming tomorrow to pick up all the sheets and bedding and stuff. And so they're going to clean it, and then Sunday they're going to, and most of the day they're going to do a deep clean, and the next vacation renter comes in here on Monday. So I got to have all this done no later than Saturday night. Okay, and speaking of that, this is going to be my bed for the next couple days. I brought some sheets with me. I brought a blanket, and I brought my pillows from home. And this is where I'm going to sleep. I'm not going to sleep on the bed because I'm going to have it all fruit basket upset here in a minute. I'm going to have everything pulled away from the wall and stuff. And the bedroom's not very big, so I've got to, you know, it's strategic. I'm going to have to pull this away, pull this way, pull this way, paint a wall, cut in the wall, and paint as far as I can. Then I'm going to have to jump around. I'm going to have to do this in strategic parts, aren't I? Because this dresser drawer is going to be in the way. This is going to be in the way. I can't paint this whole entire room all in one go without moving things back and forth. Do you see what I mean? And because I'm just here by myself. If I was here with a couple different guys, then okay, take the mattress out, pull it out here, stick it over here by the window or something, dismantle certain things, and slide the dresser right out in the middle. Take the small little end tables, put those in the middle. You see what I mean? Then I could do the whole thing in one go. But as it is, hey, I can do it. I'll just do it one step at a time, one step at a time. And that's how I look at all my jobs. I always tell viewers, hey, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And so I say, how do I do a job like this or any job? One step at a time. Just think about your project, see what you have to do, and move forward with it. Now this closet, I asked her, I said, do you want me to paint the closet? She was kind of unsure about that, but I'm going to go ahead and paint that. I'm going to take the sliding glass doors off, and I'll probably show you how to do that along the way. I'll show you bits and pieces of how to do certain things, and I'll take because this has not been painted, I'm going to remove that. You know, the bar here, all the way across the closet pole. But I'll paint everything else in there, and in fact, you know, I'm not sure just yet whether or not I'm going to do that semi-gloss. No, I'll probably do it in eggshell. But you see, for this entire job, I've got to be strategic about my paint, because I got 2 gallons of eggshell paint, and I got 1 gallon of semi-gloss. And I know, and I didn't really measure anything per se. I mean, you can measure it and do your square footage and figure out all this stuff and talk to the paint store, blah, blah, blah. When I look at this, I see I only have semi-gloss in this section, which isn't going to take very much paint, by the way, and the bathroom. But of course, I've got the bathroom and the ceiling. But because I'm going with the same color paint, and because the semi-gloss areas already have existing semi-gloss on there, the semi-gloss that I got, it's going to flow through all these walls, and it's really not going to take very much. If some of these walls were flat paint, or if this was brand new, I'd probably have to put a coat of primer and 2 coats of semi-gloss, or something like that, because the first coat of semi-gloss, if you're putting it over primer or a flat paint, is going to soak up into the wall more so than if your walls already have semi-gloss on it. You see what I'm saying? And so I just need to make sure that I have enough paint, and I don't want to run it. I want to leave her enough for paint touch-up for the eggshell paint, and the semi-gloss paint. Does that make sense? So if I have just a little bit of semi-gloss left, let's say after doing the kitchen and the bathroom, do I really want to use that? So I have no semi-gloss left for the closet. Probably not going to do that. I'll probably end up doing the closet with the eggshell finish. Okay, because when I look at this entire place, I was almost thinking I could squeak by with 1 gallon of paint for eggshell, and then I thought, no, nothing doing. I'm not going to do that and sweat over it and be in the middle or 3/4 of my job and find out I need this much paint left out of another gallon, and I've got to run back to the store. I'm up at Tahoe, and I've got to match up the paint with my new paint. What's the best thing to do? I just ended up saying, hey, forget that. I'm going to get 2 gallons of eggshell. And if I have 3/4 of a gallon left, I'd rather have 3/4 to 7/8 of a gallon left than be short by this much paint. Do you see what I mean? Plus, I can leave it for paint touch-up for everything else. So with that in mind, I know I got plenty of eggshell paint for these walls in here, this down in here, and the little bedroom. I'll have way more eggshell paint, so I can use the eggshell paint for the closet, can't I? And I'll still have probably 3/4. I'm gonna guess I'm gonna have a 1/2 gallon of eggshell left when I get done with this project, to 3/4 of a gallon of eggshell left. Okay, and so I know I'm gonna have that closet to do. And then, like I say, I'm not sure about this little closet here, whether or not I'm gonna paint anything in there or not. I am sure though that once I get ready to start painting, I'm gonna take these doors off. I'm gonna even take this door off. I don't want to get paint drips on there and have to wipe them off and all that. I just want to take them down and get them out of my way, so I don't have to be constantly back and forth, get in here, do that, and then slide this out of the way, then do that up there. Oh, I got a little bit of paint here, I'll have to wipe that off. Oop, I got a little paint over here, I missed the paint, and these are stained grade oak doors and door casings and door jambs and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to have to mess with trying to get paint off of there later, and then have her come back and say, oh yeah, everything looks good, but I see where you try to really rub on this door, and it happens to be right on the outside of the door as you walk into the bedroom, and I see all these little marks. What happened? Well, I kind of got some paint on there, and I tried to wipe it off, and some of this stain, I was wiping so hard and I didn't realize it. Now there's some smudge marks on here, and do I want to really mess with something like that and have to worry about how to match up this stain and the finish and all that kind of stuff? I'm not gonna do that. You see what I mean? So you got to pick and choose, decide what stuff you're gonna leave up and what stuff you're gonna get out. Trust me, it's much easier to have as much of this stuff out as possible. Yeah, could you sneak in there and try to get all that with a little mini roller? And I brought my little construction drop light with an extension cord. Could I leave that there because I didn't want to mess with taking these two glass sliders out? And first off, it looks like this one out the bottom's off the track because it's rubbing here, and I can tell that it's cattywampus in here. It's all angled. Do I really want to mess with that? Yeah, of course I do. Not going to take me long to pull those out, and then once I do that, I can make sure they're on the tracks after I put them back. And I might even do her a favor, and if any of these glass doors need to be adjusted, maybe I can adjust them, and it's pretty easy to do. Generally, there's screws on the bottom of the on the top edge of the wheels, and because these are glass doors, they just fit up in this little cavity here, and everything slides on the bottom rail. I see there's a bottom rail there, and that takes the weight off the top. That top just flops back and forth. Okay, so it's very simple to remove those. I'll show you how to do that later. Okay, this video here is just a preview of the rest of the videos, and I hope you're liking this, and you know, this is going to give you some ideas for next time you get ready to do a painting project. You know, if you don't do much painting now and you're a handyman or a homeowner and you want to learn stuff and you want to become a better painter, or you don't want to pay a painter. You know, if she would have called a painter to have him come out here, I'm guessing a painter would probably charge her $3,000, maybe for this entire job. $3,000, $3,500, $2,500 to $3,500 for this, really? And I might be lenient. That, you know, everything costs so much nowadays. Then you've got to get a painter in here. You've got to trust him with your property. You've got to trust him to lock the place up, keep the place clean, and not leave anything after they leave. And you're going to pay him and trust that he's done everything for you, because she's not up here. She doesn't live anywhere close to Lake Tahoe. You know, she lives four hours away. Is she going to have to come back up here? You know, all those types of things you've got to mess with. You've got to think about. And instead, why not just do it yourself? You don't have to schedule with anybody. The paint, you know, the only thing I had to buy for this project is 2 coats or 2 gallons of eggshell, 1 gallon of semi-gloss, and the smoke alarm. That's all I had to buy. I've got all my paint material, like paint roller covers and extension pole and paint brushes and, you know, drops, masking tape, and all that kind of stuff. If you start doing your own things around the house, eventually you're going to start accumulating certain things because you're doing it yourself. And just think, you didn't have to pay somebody else to do all your work. Let's say this job costs $3,500 and you got $150 into it right now. You're making, basically saving or making $350. Now you've got, maybe you have to spend $100 for some roller covers, some paint brushes, some trays, some paint trays, you know, some different things like that. No problem, because you've saved all that other money. Now you've got all that stuff for extra things. All this stuff that I've got that I'm bringing in here to do the painting, I've had for other jobs, and I've saved all kinds of money by doing it myself. Now I don't have to coordinate with anybody. I can stay here and decide if I want to work late tonight or if I want to get up real early first thing in the morning. If I wanted to get this all done, hey, if I wanted to get all this done in 2 days, I could work here late tonight and get up early and work late tomorrow night and clean up. If I want, I think I could do that. But if I want to kind of not go balls to the wall or anything. Maybe I want to take my time, not rush through it, and do a good job and know that I've got everything and put everything back and stuff. If it takes me the next morning or the next until the next afternoon, hey, so be it. I've got enough time to do that. I'm doing it on my own. Nobody's here to bother me. I've got my schedule. I know when the cleaners are going to be here on Sunday. That gives me 3 days. That gives me many options and ample time to be able to do this myself. Why on earth would I want to spend over $3,000 or $2,500 to have somebody else come in here and do the paint job when I could do it myself? Do you see what I'm saying? And if you're a handyman, back to handyman, if you don't do any painting, yeah, I'm a handyman, I do plumbing, I do electrical, and I do flooring, and I do carpet, and stuff like that, but I hate painting. I just have a friend of mine do that. Hey, if it costs me $2,500 to do it, I'll just charge the owner $3,500 or $3,250 to make $750 off my painting friend. Well, instead of that, why not do the painting yourself? Learn how to do some things on your own, so you can make that money, you know. And so anyways, that's pretty much all I got to say at this point. Okay, until I come back and I start pulling all this stuff off, you know, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to. It's all about prep, baby. Have you ever heard that? It's all about prep for painting. You don't want to. I don't want to get somebody in here. You know, even if I had a flunky guy working with me, oh yeah, get the paint out and start painting in here. I'm gonna get all this stuff and I'll work ahead of you. No, don't do stuff like that. You're gonna be jumping over each other. Do all the prep work first. And luckily for me, there's no holes in the walls. There's no real major caulking I'm gonna have to do anywhere. There's hardly anything I'm gonna have to do other than just start putting the paint on. You see what I mean? But if I, you know, as you're walking around, you're gonna have to look for stuff like that and make a determination. Okay, well, all right, there's some big old gouges over here in this wall. I'm gonna have to put some caulking here, and I'm gonna have to do something else. And the side of the door jamb might be sheetrock instead of this nice wood, and you've got a big old crack over here where the corner bead is because this thing's been slamming back and forth in there. Maybe you're gonna have to clean that out and put some caulking in there and do some other stuff, and you want to check on stuff like that. You know, maybe you have some drywall repair patch or spackle or something like that you can use instead of the caulking, and you know, hey, I better fix that. I better walk around and check certain things like that. Put that stuff on first so that can be drying, so that while you're doing all the prep work to taking all the handles down and taking out all your other stuff in the bathroom and different things, you can be working on that while your spackle or whatever is drying over here, so that when you get everything else, you can sand it and scrape off some edges and stuff, put a second coat on there, whatever you got to do, and get ready before you start painting somewhere. And then if that needs a little bit more attention, to put a little bit of a skip trowel on there, and you're thinking, man, I still have to do that. Well, no problem. Let that dry, and you can start painting everything else in this room, can't you? You start painting everything in here. You can paint in the closet. You can do this little section towards the end. That can still be drying while you're working out here. Certain little projects, especially something like this, you're gonna have to jump around. You're gonna have to jump around through different hoops and see what all you've got to do. You know, you just got to get it done. Now, speaking of that, jumping through hoops, where this refrigerator is, I'm gonna pull this out from the wall, and I may have to squeeze in there, jump in there, whatever, because I want to paint the wall behind the refrigerator. Really, Joe? Why not just cut it in? Well, hey, I don't want to do that, because I want to do the best that I can, because then you're going to see this area in here. I'll just get a weenie roller and put it in there as far back as I can and let it be good, and that'll be fine. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pull that away from there. But as for the stove, I don't think I'm going to pull the stove out. I may end up pulling it out maybe 3 or 4 inches so I can get my little roller through there so I can reach behind it, but I'm not going to pull the whole thing out. Do you see what I mean? So I'm just going to have to pick and choose. I'll have to decide. See, here's one light. I may, I don't know yet. I may, I'll probably take the cover off. I don't know if I'm going to take the back off of that or not. I'm going to have to look at that more closely and decide. I may end up taking that light fixture down. And I noticed as for that, I noticed before it looks like they had painted all this, then they came back later, a few years after probably, and then they caulked this, because you can see that the caulking is white up against the Navajo white paint, right? That's because somebody caulked this later. Well, when I paint this, I'm going to cut in my paint right down to the caulking edge, right to the top of the cabinetry trim. You see what I mean? Because I don't want to have the white showing anymore. Okay. And I'll have to look down here. They didn't do that here. They just have it the same color. They didn't caulk down there, so that'll be fine. And so you just kind of have to look and pick and choose what all needs to be taken down and what you can leave. You see what I mean? See, as for this, because this is in the shade, this area is in the shade all the time, right? See where the lights are? I mean, I got all the lights turned on in this condo, and there's only so much light you're going to get in here. If I wanted to cut around that particular one with my roller and then with the paintbrush, you're never going to see the difference between the paintbrush and the roller because it's in the shade. If that was out front, you would see a difference, especially right here. See, when I repaint this, I may end up deciding to take that down. And lucky for me, most of the lights, see that light is mounted up on the wood, that one's mounted on the wood, that one's mounted on the wood, this is mounted on the wood. That's good for me because I don't have to decide and pick and choose. Okay, am I going to take the light fixtures down or not? See this light fixture here? I've got to make a determination. Do I want to take that down? It looks like it might be easy enough to take down. That whole thing is just attached with one screw in the middle. I could pull that out, disconnect that, and the trim would pop off, and I might want to do that because I don't want to get paint flecks on this. I don't want to have to worry about cutting that in, so I'll probably end up doing that. As for these vertical blinds here, I'm going to have to look at that, and the trim, I think I can take that out. I haven't looked at that just yet. I believe I could take that out, and then I'll have that out of the way. Okay, but as for the actual blind, I believe I'm going to keep that exactly where it's at, and I'm going to have to hope that I can figure out what to do around the edges. I might have to disconnect something on the back. I haven't looked at these blinds, this unit just yet. I kind of like them, by the way. They look very sturdy. You can see that. You can pull that. It's nice. And you know how you got the vertical individual blinds and the pieces always come off and they get crooked up here and they get broken off and snapped off and they never seem to work properly. You got the wires dangling. Well, I don't have any of that there. But I'm not going to mess around with taking that whole thing down. I don't think. I'm going to have to look at that. Maybe I can disconnect it from the bottom to let it swivel a little bit so that I can get back in there. Or if not, I'll do the best I can along that edge and reach my. I might have it. I don't know. I might have to. Get a weenie roller in there. I got a little 4-inch weenie roller, or just use a paintbrush and do the best I can, because nobody's ever going to disconnect those and find out whether or not I went any further or not. But as for the trim, I believe I want to take that valance off because I don't want to have to mess around painting around the valance and trying to get up in there and all that. Do you see what I mean? But I can leave that track alone, and then I can cut that in, and you'll never see anything different once I put the valance trim back on. So lots of different things I'm going to have to take into consideration when I get going on this project. But I feel good about this, where I'm at. I'm glad I made this little preview video, because it's given me some different things to think about as well. Okay, so that pretty much ends this first preview of this painting project, and I hope you join me for the rest. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos. Hey, I'm trying to save you money here and showing you that if you're just an average Joe, hey, I always tell people I'm just an average Joe. If I can do it, you can do it. And I won't show you anything on my channel that I think you can't do, which means, what does that mean? That means anything you see on my YouTube channel or anywhere else for that matter, if I post it, I think you can do it. And save your money. Why not do it yourself? Don't pay someone else when you can do it yourself. You know? Hey, if you got the time, energy, and a little bit of know-how, you can do it too.